Welcome, people of the internet. This is Geek Rating Review, where we talk about everything geek culture and geek related. My name is Jean-Marc, and I talk.
My name's Nick. We talk about food, too.
I was born on Jean-Marc because I'm his littlest brother, David.
Alright.
Let's just wing it.
Woo, we're winging it. Wing ding
David's
Sunday.
David's chewing cereal. I'm chewing gum. I was going to spit the gum out whenever we started the recording.
I am
Sunday.
sipping on a coffee.
We can't say what time it is because if we're taking shots, we don't want to look like a...
That's true. Let me put my coffee aside because it's, yeah. My Indian food place isn't open, so... What am I going to do?
Who's needing a poop a lot?
Just the poops were so spicy, just like the food. That's why I liked it. David, do you have alcohol in front of you at all? You can pour it in the stuff you're eating. And then just keep gobbing your maw.
I think my wife just caught something rare and incredible because she's screaming in the living room.
Like an STD?
On Animal Crossing.
Oh, okay.
She passed me in terms of hours played.
Oh. You know, I really have a video game grind going on where I wake up and go to sleep playing Animal Crossing and then just play whatever game on PS4 in the middle. But since I'm on furlough, spoiler alert to my life, I'm on furlough and I can go back to work when they need me. Right now, they don't need me. Hopefully that doesn't become permanent.
Yeah.
Hey, let's toast.
Let's
toast to, I don't remember, video game? TV shows.
Animal Crossing Part 2.
Yeah.
More like Animal Crossing Part 2.
Good job, David. I'd laugh, but that alcohol is strong.
Oh, man, that toothpaste does not match well with that.
Neither does my coffee.
Surprisingly, this rum goes good with my cereal.
All right. Of course it does.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's funny because I've heard other people say that you don't really know what day it is, but I have become the maid of the house. So I vacuum, I cook, I clean. The only thing I don't do is wash clothes. It's great. I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've done the same. I pulled a muscle in my back like Tuesday, so I've kind of been limping around the house, but I'm still keeping up with my husbandly duties.
Duty.
Yeah. I can give a little quick review of the Switch Lite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
Like as of right now, it's my favorite handheld ever. Really, like the screen is super vibrant, colorful, kind of like that second Vita screen. You know, those colors like just popped on the Vita Slim.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to that. It's bigger. It's a few ounces lighter than the Switch proper.
Oh.
So like when you're playing the Switch just in handheld mode, it's kind of heavy, kind of bulky. The Lite, it's really light, like the name says. The one gripe I have right now is Animal Crossing related. Whenever you're catching fish, when you have that vibration, whenever the cork goes under and you hear that big thump, it would be nice to have that on the handheld. There's no vibration on the handheld? There's no vibration on the handheld. That's why it sells for so cheap. The actual screen size is just a little bit smaller than the 2DS XL, 3DS XL. But it's a super crisp screen. Battery life is pretty decent whenever you have the slider for the brightness turned about halfway. I can get a good 3 hours of play on it.
Oh.
The only thing I've played on it is Animal Crossing, but I do have a bunch of stuff downloaded that I haven't touched yet.
Let me tell you, though, Katana Zero is so good. Oh, man.
I saw it was on sale, and I nearly picked it up, but I bought... The only thing I had was SteamWorld Dig 2. Because I had the first SteamWorld Dig on 3DS.
Oh, yeah.
So that was $250 the other day. So I was like,
jeez,
why not?
Yeah.
So now I have 1 and 2 on there.
Man, David has got to play SteamWorld Dig. It is such
a fun SteamWorld Dig 2 is $250?
No, the first one was $250.
Oh, okay.
That's a great game.
I've heard nothing but good things about the second one.
The second one is so good, man.
I think
tough.
I preferred the first.
It's a lot harder than the first. I like the first one more because the second one is so hard.
Yeah, I don't remember how I felt about the second one. I just remember not liking it as much, but I liked it. I just wanted more SteamWorld Dig when I was done with SteamWorld Dig. But I want a third one, definitely.
Is this our Switch podcast?
I guess. I played it on PS4.
Yeah, SteamWorld's on everything.
Yeah, it's on everything.
Like Codename is, I think, 3DS exclusive, though. That's that tactical one or strategic one.
What game?
Codename SteamWorld.
Oh, yeah, I have it on my foot. Codename Steam?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
No. Yeah, okay, never mind. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's also SteamWorld Heist.
Yeah, that which I haven't played.
Me neither.
I'm thinking the shooter one. I can't think of the name of it.
Pixel Junk Shooter?
Something. No, it's a SteamWorld game, but it's
SteamWorld Shooter?
no.
Alright, I guess we should get to the topic at hand. I guess.
Which is?
Oh, SteamWorld Heist.
Yeah, I just said that. Just now.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, this is your topic, so we're going to let you talk.
Are we doing the thing that I said for months, maybe years now?
Yes, sure. Super interested in it.
We're so prepared.
Yeah, I'm prepared.
Yeah, we got it.
I know where to start with this topic.
Yeah.
I thought about it last night, actually.
I did want to eliminate probably half of the topic by saying that this will not incorporate sketch comedy.
Okay, so what are you talking about?
I would like to talk about TV comedy, whether it be single cam or multicam sitcoms, Office, Community, basically if it's a scripted comedy that's not a sketch show. And what are some of your favorites in the past, and what are you kind of just now discovering?
I was thinking about it, and then I realized that there's a whole, what's the term? I don't think pantheon. That's maybe not the word. There's a whole, group of shows that were grouped together when we were younger that I completely forgot about. And it was on TGIF, ABC. Yeah. I was like, whoa. I don't know why that popped in my head. Probably because of nostalgia in the culture now. Everyone's rebooting everything. But the first show I remember as a kid was Perfect Strangers with Balky. And I called the show Balky, and I loved Balky in that show. He kind of looked like Data from the from Star Wars, or Star Trek Next Generation. But yeah, I loved Balky. And I used to sit there and watch that with Family Matters and some show with a doctor in it or a scientist. I don't remember that one. And then there was later on, there was a show about an angel trying to get his wings that didn't get launched. There's a lot of just TGIF, and I was like, I think that started it. Yeah.
That was ABC. I kind of want to group them as into networks.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because a lot of these shows are tied to their network.
That's true.
Where post syndication, Fox played everything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like you were saying with TGIF, that was all ABC, Family Matters and Step by Step. And,
it was Step by Step on that?
Step by Step was all TGIF.
Oh, we'll make it better.
Second time around. But that that went on until we were in high school.
Yeah, I think so. I remember the ending of it was kind of weird.
Yeah, it shifted from family comedies to teen comedies with Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Boy Meets World was also TGIF.
Oh yeah, those college years. That was when I loved the college years because I remember watching Boy Meets World right before that happened. That's when I started watching it, and then they had some special where they were talking about the next season, and they were talking to the director, and he goes, "Oh, we're changing all of the sets, and we're changing everything about the show." And then there was a pause, and he goes, "Just kidding." But lo and behold, that's what happened. And when they went to college, they changed everything about it. And it shook my entire world because I was like, is this what graduating is going to feel like? But
then another thing, too, was Disney buying ABC.
Oh, yeah.
Where all of their sitcoms were now had let's take a trip to Disney World.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was every show on there, yeah. Was because on Step by Step, they had an episode where that kid wanted to beat the world record for doing the most rides in one day. And he said the person who did it before him wasn't even American. So he had, I don't know why I remember that episode, but I do. And then and then the Family Matters episode was the dad was really against them going to Disney World. What was his name? Mr. Winslow?
Carl Winslow.
And he was really against it. And then he walked into Disney World and they showed this like wide angle shot of Disney World and it was like sparkling and sun shining. And then it zoomed in on his face and he was like, I think I'm going to like it here. And I was like, all right.
Yeah. And that show started on a different network.
Oh.
Yeah,
really?
It moved to ABC.
Oh, did it move to ABC after the daughter died? And I don't know. I don't know.
And so, like ABC stuff, I don't associate it with much except for those TGIF shows because ABC was always like the Sunday night channel with like Alias and
eventually, yeah.
Alias. I never really hung on their comedies.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. That's why I brought it up because to me it was a grouping of like family safe comedies that you can.
Yeah.
God, we used to look forward to that, and like whenever they would play a movie or whatever, like a Disney movie.
Just like on like a Saturday night or a Sunday night, they would play Toy Story or Beauty and the Beast. Like they would play an animated movie, Disney animated movie.
Toy Story
and it was a big deal.
Last one they did. I vaguely remember that. That used to be a big deal. Everyone would, because you can't afford the Disney Channel, but then they'd play a Disney movie on. Yeah,
you'd look out for those commercials. The network television premiere of insert movie here.
Yeah, it was that and Stephen King drama.
Oh, that was CBS.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that.
Well, I mean, we can talk about CBS because they have some under the radar comedies.
Is there nothing modern day to ABC that I'm just not thinking of?
Modern Family.
Oh, I don't watch
Modern Family and The Goldbergs. The Goldbergs is actually a really funny show.
I heard Goldbergs is awesome, and I heard that they had what's his face reprise Freddy Krueger on it, which is pretty cool. But I haven't actually sat down and watched it. But
we catch episodes every now and then, and it's very good.
I'm sure it's on Hulu or something.
It is. It's an entirety.
Yeah. That's interesting. All right. David, do you have anything to say? You've been quiet. I know
I haven't watched. I vaguely remember Family Matters, and that's about it.
Yeah. He's in that lower age group.
Yeah.
But it was ending whenever he was coming of age.
Yeah, it was weird when that ended. I don't even know why they ended TJ. Because they tried to bring it back at one point, and then it didn't work, but I don't even remember that. At all.
It was all the teen comedies.
Yeah.
Poorly written, formulaic teen comedy.
Great stuff. I mean, I actually love Sabrina Teenage Witch because whenever we would catch Nickelodeon when it was free for like the summertime, we would watch Clarissa Explains It All, which was awesome.
Yeah, I don't remember that show. So when someone explained it to me, I was like, there was a show before Sabrina with that girl?
Mm-hmm.
It was basically Lizzie McGuire without the animated interludes.
I've never watched Lizzie McGuire.
Me neither.
No, we were.
That was the David's age group thing.
It was, but I never watched.
Something David can relate to. My favorite episode was the Ferguson episode of Clarissa Explains It All, where her brother Ferg Brain took over the show, which was different. And applaud Nintendo for their bravery. I've no joke there. I'm just really tired. So yeah, that was okay. We can move on, I guess. I'm just trying to think of.
I mean, the kings of network TV comedy is like it's NBC, right?
Probably. I mean, The Office is like the comedy,
but even before that, they had Think of What You Will of Friends, but Friends and Seinfeld were concurrent.
Oh, I forgot about Seinfeld. Yeah, man, he's making so much money. That's what I think about the most. He's making like tens of millions, hundreds of millions by the end. And yeah, my favorite thing about Jerry Seinfeld was he said that They were gonna pay him like hundreds of millions of dollars to do another season, and he said that he completely missed the '90s. Maybe Nick told me about that. He said he was working so hard on the show that he wanted
to do stand up again.
Oh yeah.
And like he could have been a movie star. He could have been a failed movie star by now, but his return to stand up comedy prolonged his career.
Oh, I thought it was because he did B-movie and it was terrible. And then,
it's become a bit of a cult classic.
No, ironically.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Shrek. It's more ironic. And
Shrek made money multiple times.
Well, it's just if they had a Smash Mouth song in that movie, it probably would have been.
What was Cheers and Frasier? Was that ABC?
That's a good question. Because I loved Frasier. I never watched Cheers except the beginning and the ending. The song at the end of Cheers where it's just the trumpet doing the... I loved it. I thought it was great. I love that.
I think that was ABC.
It ran on NBC.
Oh.
Both of them?
Yeah, I mean...
Cheers. Let's see, with Frasier.
Yeah, why wouldn't Frasier... I mean, it's a spinoff. One of the most successful spinoffs in, history. Yeah, it's also NBC for Frasier.
Okay, so NBC is the undisputed king of TV comedy.
Yeah.
So the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and the aughts. The aughts and the 2010s. They ruled TV comedy. And didn't they pick up Brooklyn Nine-Nine after Fox ditched it?
I think so.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why Fox would ditch it.
Fox is problematic with giving a show a chance.
That's true. So NBC also did 30 Rock and A Good Place.
Yes.
Which I
was also going to get to those things.
Oh, wow.
What was the second one you said?
A Good Place, which I still haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
Woo.
I've only heard good things.
Woo, so many things. They did not do Arrested Development, did they?
No, that's Fox.
Why are they on here? Oh, I put sitcoms.
Netflix.
Whoops.
Oh.
Whoops.
Yeah, Netflix finished it.
Yeah.
Because Fox didn't.
They do Superstore now. Superstore I watch and I love. And it shouldn't work, but I think everyone can relate to, or at some point know someone who worked at a Superstore, or there's so many people that work there, like our father, me. I think David worked at a small one.
I worked at Lagrange.
I worked at Winn-Dixie and Wally World. I worked at both. Winn-Dixie was fun. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun little time in my life. But, I like the show. It's not... I liked the first season because it was edgier. It was weird. But as the show went along, it's more formulaic a little bit more. But I like how different it is from other stuff I've seen, I guess, to some degree.
The only episode I remember watching was the one where they were, shelter in place during a storm.
Oh. During the hurricane.
Was it a hurricane? Yeah, hurricane.
Something like that, yeah.
And I liked what I saw. It's just, I don't like being regimented by a TV show where I have to watch it every week.
Oh, okay.
I'm spoiled in this streaming culture where I can watch blocks of the show.
Yeah.
So, while a show is still going on, I'll try to avoid it as much as I can until it's, a season has wrapped up or the series itself is wrapped up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's smart to do even with Rick and Morty. Having to wait for it to come out, and then if you wait for all of the episodes, then it's even sooner to when the next season comes out. I also bring it up because I had a dream last night.
But it takes so long.
Yeah, it does, especially animation. There's a year-long process, with all that. We're not talking about animation.
No.
Do we want to talk more about Brooklyn Nine-Nine since we breezed past it?
I'm way behind on it. I only watched the first 2 seasons because my wife doesn't like it.
Well, what?
Yeah. But, she never wanted to watch The Office.
Oh.
Until I put on the first 2 episodes, and she was like, oh, no, I want to see where this goes.
Oh.
And then fast forward 3 weeks or 4 weeks later, and the show was over, and we had watched every episode.
There you go.
And then she fell in love with it.
It's just
we absolutely hated The Office when she watched it. Because the first season is so much like the British version, and it's kind of intentionally awkward very frequently.
Yeah.
But The Office is just an awkward show. It's just the humor of it. But I was like, give it to the end of the second season. Because I knew if she saw the Jim and Pam stuff, she would get hooked, and I was right, and she did. She watched the entire show.
Not even just Jim and Pam. It's just you mentioned the British one. Like everything is so cringe. It's so awkward. It's so David Brent central. Like the American version, they were able to get a little bit of freedom away from it eventually, so that they can focus on these personalities and the dynamics between the personalities. Dude, like I kind of shed a tear when Dwight chased down Angela to propose.
Yeah.
Angela's that word.
Yeah.
and Dwight's kind of a manic nut job.
Probably has autism.
Probably is on the spectrum.
Yeah.
But to see them like finally get together, like
yeah,
it feels important and it feels impactful because it's not just a week to week. Physical comedy or dumb stuff like that you get from a typical sitcom.
But it's also more modern because it's not situational per week. Like, what I like about comedies in every show now is that they carry on storylines from a different season, or they will call back stuff that has happened, and I love that. I don't like the procedurals where it's like, this is the funny thing that happened this week and this week. Like it's more to me a natural story if you're able to call back the stuff. And I like the idea you're talking about the British Office to this one, because Michael Scott's a way more likable character than David Brent was.
yeah.
And you love watching
David Brent's a monster.
Yeah, he's like they hated David Brent. And no one really liked him. But Michael Scott, he made you feel sorry for him at times, and you were kind of like, well, I kind of get why he's like this. You know what I mean? And those are the moments I like whenever they show why people act the way. Like Andy Bernard, for instance, having that anger problem and having to work through that is really funny. And Ryan being narcissistic and, thinking he's better than everyone in the office. And
to your point of Michael Scott being a more likable boss, imagine if they had kept him the way he was in the first season.
Ooh.
Imagine how little impact that airport scene with Pam would have.
I know.
Because, it wouldn't work at all.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, the him and Pam relationship's probably more interesting than her and Jim in some ways, especially later on. But he also impacted that relationship. Like, my favorite episodes of the boat episode.
Yeah.
By far my favorite, because you get to see the dance scene with him, which is amazing. You also, it's my favorite because you get to see Jim finally say, I want Pam. That was his episode for that. He left that actress girl, who I forget her name, and was and then Michael Scott is probably one of his nicest moments, was telling Jim, engaged ain't married. I was that's an awesome scene.
It feels realistic. It doesn't feel like comedy writing. It feels like realism.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite episode is probably the mobile office, when Jim talks Dwight off of the roof of the bus.
Oh, yeah.
Because, he realizes, Pam and Dwight are very close friends, whether they know it or not.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And Jim sacrificing his leadership role on the roof of the bus where Dwight is doing Dwight stuff. That moment to get everybody ice cream, I think that was what they were trying to go get.
I do not remember this episode.
That is a great episode. It's season 5, I believe. But it's the episode where they're on the bus.
Office. Where were they going? I don't remember this.
The building was getting fumigated.
Okay.
And so they rent a bus with mobile office equipment, and they cram everybody on this bus, and Dwight starts driving the bus.
It's just after Michael Scott left.
Yes.
Okay, that's why I don't remember.
Okay.
I only watched the seasons once or twice through, and I don't remember them.
It's season 9 right here. Maybe that's why I don't remember it.
Oh, so it's that late. I didn't realize it was that late.
Yeah, because
I was about to say, is this one of those alternate reality things? What are those called?
Mandela effects.
Yeah. Mandela effect. I was about to freak out.
I was
I don't remember.
What are you talking
I remember
about?
5 pretty well. I don't remember that.
Yeah. But also, the reason I brought up the evolution of liking the lead character is why I think Parks and Recs works so much. Because she's a lot like Michael Scott, but everyone loves Leslie Knope. to me, it's a more optimistic show, and it's easier to watch than The Office.
Yeah, Leslie's smile feels more genuine than Michael Scott's smile. Michael Scott smiles to hide his emotion. Leslie smiles because she's generally a happy and likable person.
Yeah. I'm very upset that those two characters never met. I am very,
Yeah.
very, very upset about that. That would have been great to see. Like, they're so similar in personality, but she probably would have been consoling him in some way.
Or just to see them bounce jokes off of each other.
Oh, that's true, too. Yeah, that would have been awesome. It's just, yeah, you're right. And I was like, this show doesn't depress me at all like The Office does sometimes. And it just makes me happy. And Ron Swanson's so funny. He's such an original, fun character to watch.
I'm not a big Leslie Knope fan, but I'm a big Everyone Else fan.
Yeah.
Like that entire cast very well. The Office, it took me a while to warm up to everyone, but that's because they slowly revealed, their personalities and stuff. I still don't like Kelly, but
no, I don't think you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Wait, who's Kelly?
Kelly Kapoor.
Oh, Kelly Kapoor, yeah. Yeah, it's funny that her and BJ Novak wrote their characters to be awful people.
But it's sad that, like, Mindy Kaling couldn't write and more... Like, she writes well for women, but she couldn't write herself as a more empowered woman. That's kind of disappointing, but it's funny. It's not a Bechdel test thing because she wrote it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
If it was a man writing her that way, it would be different.
Yeah.
Or Hover on NBC for a while.
I know, because The Office is so prolific, and I didn't watch it thinking, oh, this is the greatest show ever. I was like, oh, this is pretty good, and then it just by season 2, it's just so good. And I guess the same thing with Parks and Rec. Once Chris Traeger and what's his face, Adam Scott, basically show up, that's when I really start liking Parks and Rec, because those are two fun characters to watch.
And Adam Scott is so talented way too talented to be on TV.
Oh yeah, I think he's low key one of the funniest people on that show, because the one-liners he throws out make me laugh so hard. And him with John Raphael, whatever his name is very funny.
Oh, yeah.
I'm technically homeless. So funny.
Like, Adam Scott is like our generation's deadpan king.
Yeah.
Bill Murray was the deadpan delivery king.
Mm-hmm.
I think Adam Scott is very close.
Yeah.
He looks like the straight man, but his delivery is so deadpan and so spot on that it's awesome.
Yeah, we got to the last season and we just couldn't finish it for some reason. The last season of that show is so different, and they, spoiler alert, time jump, or it's kind of like, oh, and they changed so many things. It's like, it's not as hard to watch as the last 3 seasons of The Office without Michael Scott, but it's just so different. It's hard to kind of get into it.
The last episode of The Office, though, is...
great.
That's great.
Freaking bravo.
I tell people it's worth getting to. That's the only reason I kind of went with it, just because I wanted to watch the last episode.
I mean, really, you could skip. There's not a whole lot other than one character in that last episode that you wouldn't get if you skip the entirety of the rest of the show.
I think it was a mistake in The Office to add new characters, to add those younger guys that no one cares about. And they're not that interesting. I hate to say it. I hate to say that. They are. It's just, they should have taken, the guy from HR or whatever. The guy that's on, I keep thinking IT Crowd, but that's a whole different thing. Silicon Valley. The guy that's...
Gabe?
Yeah, Gabe should have just... should have just filled in right there and just been...
Gabe, though.
I loved Gabe because, to me... I like Gabe because he was like Adam Scott to me. He's just such a nerd, and I like that Dwight had someone to kind of play off of with him. Oh, not Dwight, it was Andy actually.
Andy.
Yeah, so I think I wish.
So creepy and possessive.
Yeah.
Aaron was just
Yeah.
I think they needed Aaron to have a way to get away from Andy.
Yeah.
I don't mind those characters being added, but.
Oh, I actually loved her. I thought she was great.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the 2 kids that they basically put in there that were I like the show because it was older people making fun of a younger generation, and then you have a younger generation show up and you're like, oh, you're kind of missing the...
But then they're the butt of a lot of jokes, too.
I guess. I would have felt better if it was one character that was a young character, not just two characters. And then they didn't really do anything with them. You know, that I remember.
Yeah, I don't even remember the girl's name.
Yeah. Kimmy Schmidt, you mean?
No.
Oh,
No.
there was a girl, too?
Yeah, 2 guys and a girl. They were
In a pizza
interns.
place, which is a great, which I'm about to go off on. Did anyone here watch 2 Guys and a Girl in a Pizza Place?
Of course.
What a great,
Yes.
I don't know what, I think it was on Fox.
No, it was on ABC because
Are
they
you
got rid of
serious?
it. Played after Dharma and Greg.
Oh,
Remember?
what a great show. That was my introduction to Ryan Reynolds. I followed his career because of that show. And then it turned to 2 Guys and a Girl after, because they dropped the pizza place after season 1. Man, that was so good. That's all I have to say about that.
So do we want to talk about the other elephant in the room?
Which is?
Dumbo?
Huh?
Dumbo?
Dumbo?
Oh, man.
No. Jesus. No. Oh, God. How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yeah.
That's not an elephant. That is one of my favorite shows of all time. I love.
That's why it's the elephant.
I think there's a bigger elephant that we have not talked about that I should have started this whole thing with, and that's Scrubs. How have we not talked about? Because that was the first show to have.
That was also NBC.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's the first show that had a box set for their seasons come out on DVD, and I was like, oh, I miss Scrubs. Let me buy the first season. And it blew my mind. And a lot of people I knew had like a lot of box sets of Scrubs. And it's just
I didn't catch it when it was when it first started.
Yeah.
I think I got to it finally in the 3rd season.
Yeah.
I knew there was something different about it because I like the hospital setting for a comedy. You know, it's kind of dark humor off the bat.
Yeah.
But to have that cartoon, I mean, it's basically a cartoon. It feels like a cartoon.
Yeah. Another show.
The wackiness that goes on, but there's always heart to it.
Yeah.
And one of the best relationships ever on TV is Zach Braff and Face on Love, the Donald Faison,
Oh yeah.
They were legit best friends after that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could see their chemistry working together was just great.
Yeah, but also JD with Dr. Cox was also an interesting relationship to watch because he was again, he's like Ron Swanson. He's such a good character to watch.
A father figure.
Yeah.
A reluctant father figure.
Yeah.
With Ron Swanson.
And he's right more than he's wrong about things. Even though he's mad, you don't want to be on his side because he's angry and he's mean to JD. It's but he also feels almost just as much emotion as JD does, dealing with everything. He just deals with it in a different way, which I thought the mix of humor and seriousness on that show was perfected. To go from laughing to someone dying and having to deal with that, or dealing with feeling alone or whatever, those weren't really things I've seen before, and that's why I identified it, because you get depressed, you get sad, and you can identify what's going on with that show more than I think any other comedy that I've seen.
Because there's nobody in that show that plays it straight.
Mm-hmm.
Until you get an outside character will play it straight. A patient will play it straight.
Yeah. But even
a brother will play it straight.
Yeah.
But the core characters, they play it straight whenever it's emotionally important to play it straight.
Yeah.
So that's what makes the things land.
Yeah.
I don't think Casey's gonna like that one.
Oh man, I love Scrubs.
Really good.
It's hard for me to get through for some reason. Whenever they get to the later seasons, it just
the show should have ended 2 seasons before.
To me, it's a rapid decline, and I'm but I still love the characters and everything. It's a hard show for me to talk about now because maybe I'm so far removed from it. But the first 2, 3, 4 seasons even were so good.
Yeah.
Which, actually, I'm going to rewind that, and the guy who did that also did Spin City, which I was a big fan of. I felt like I was the only person watching that,
ABC.
Yeah, and he actually took characters from Spin City and put them in Scrubs. Michael J. Fox was in a later episode. He was trying to get every single character from there. And I watched the reruns of it on Fox or whatever. That's the only reason I knew about it. And it was a good show. I just wish that Michael J. Fox wouldn't have got Parkinson's, and that kind of derailed it. But it probably would have went on for a lot more seasons had,
I think I didn't watch it because like Comedy Central picked up the syndication.
Yeah.
And then they played it from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I think that's how I watched it through the first time.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched it like you. I think I would just watch scattered episodes when they would play on TV. I never watched it from season 1 to whatever. But to me, that set up a lot of what Scrubs was. And the guy who created Scrubs was like, his sister and his whole family were in hospital. So he just knew all these stories coming in, so he was able to put them out. Nurses have such ridiculous lives. Like, knowing I used to deliver for a medical delivery company, and just sometimes they would just go on a rant, and you're like, yeah, that sucks. Just talking about patients and everything.
I worked 10 years in that situation.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, and yeah, nurses have sick sense of humor.
And that's what's believable about Scrubs, because you have to have a sense of humor to get through a lot of the craziness that goes on in the medical field. Not that any of us are doctors or nurses. We only know it by association, I guess.
Yeah.
But I actually thought about being a nurse for a long time, and I'm glad I didn't. I'd be very stressed and be working my butt off right now, actually. Yeah, great show.
So, David, you said there was one we were missing out?
Yes, and I think it's another NBC program.
Shocking.
Let me check that. Yes, it is. Community.
Yes.
Of course.
Community. Y'all said cartoon, and it reminded me of the episode where he was imagining every one of the cartoons.
No, it's a cartoon.
It is, yeah.
I like that one, too, because it reminded me of Scrub because of Troy and Abed in the morning.
Yeah.
Their friendship was really, really awesome.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that when we're talking about TV shows, I think the relationships are what matter more than almost the story.
Yeah.
Like seeing characters interact and...
Yeah, I don't care about the will they, won't they of a show.
Yeah.
Because they always will.
Yeah.
So if you give me a friendship or like a relationship where there's like excellent chemistry and great dialogue, then man, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that 7-season arc of will they, won't they.
Yeah.
But if you wrap that in like a nice little bow, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And Community doesn't have, like, it has that, the will they, won't they, but he doesn't get the girl.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost how Scrubs treated the will they, won't they, which was kind of annoying with Scrubs, because you're like, you were tired of it by, season 5, you're like, come on. Like, why are we still doing this?
They're perfect for each other. Just do it.
And what's funny is you talk about there are a lot of bromances, but then in Parks and Rec, it's Leslie Knope and the other woman who I forget what her character's name was, but they had a good girl-mance.
Anne, I think.
Yeah. Community was great. Nobody watched it when it was out, though.
Yeah.
I did. I watched the last couple of episodes, but there's so much drama with Dan Harmon, who I don't know if he's good to work with or he just wanted to do his own thing. And then Chevy Chase had a whole drama on that show, which is like, oh, Chevy Chase is not a good person. Because there's more than just that show. There's other movies he worked on where he's kind of hard to work with. And apparently he was jealous of his SNL counterparts for a long time. But yeah, that show was so good. And it's a great precursor to Rick and Morty. If you want to see kind of how story structure and how he deals with characters. And they reference that show in Rick and Morty a couple of times.
Just like a show with heart. Or a cartoon with heart. Where because a character is toxic or disagreeable or unrelatable, they still have relatable qualities.
Yeah.
Especially in Rick and Morty, but we'll do animation another day.
And what's interesting that you keep bringing up cartoons is that actually the Beverly Hillbillies was originally meant to be a cartoon.
Huh.
Like Scooby-Doo or whatever.
They were going to do there was a comic strip.
Oh, any Garfield? I don't know what you're talking about.
From the 40s and 50s. I don't remember.
I have no idea. I wasn't alive during those times.
No, but it was
Marmaduke.
a really famous comic strip. The writer was actually even like super famous and became a political pundit, and I can't remember the name of the comic strip.
It's funny because we are blowing past I Love Lucy, the Andy Griffin Show, like
our generation. We're talking about our generation.
Yeah,
MASH. I mean, Seinfeld. Yeah, like Seinfeld premiered in '89. I could say that's the start of me and your generation.
Yeah.
When we became TV aware.
Yeah.
And we close with, we don't have to close now. I'm just suggesting. Can we close with our favorite?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can have a top 3.
Yeah.
I can't name an absolute favorite.
That's fair.
But the only reason I know about those old movies is TV Land. You know what I mean? Or those old shows, or what they would, or play the Monkeys or whatever on reruns.
They used to play that in the morning while we were like getting ready for school.
Yeah, I love the Monkeys. That's such a good show. As a kid, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, well, those existed, I guess.
Yeah. The shows that informed our comedy weren't like Lucy, weren't the Honeymooners. It was the stuff from the 60s and 70s. It was like the Andy Griffith Show actually dealt with issues. All in the Family and the Jeffersons and Good Times. That's the stuff that informed our comedy.
Yeah, watched the heck out of it.
And that was all done by the same guy.
Wow. Ain't we lucky we got a good time. I love that show.
There was a block on Fox when we would get off of school.
Yeah.
That would play Good Times and Martin. And,
Martin.
Living Single.
Yeah, Living Single.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know we can't talk about it in Living Color, but that's a pretty good show.
Nope. We'll get through it eventually.
I need to bring up a show since we're still on syndicated TV. I think we're going to go to streaming after this. That I have to admit that I like and own box sets of, and that's Big Bang Theory. Yeah, I liked Big Bang Theory, and I haven't been able to rewatch it because I'm afraid to. But I was at my friend's house, and his in-laws were like talking to me and my friend John Powers, and they're like, "Y'all would like Big Bang Theory because there's a bunch of nerds on it." And we're like, "Whoa, what?" I'm like, yeah, you really like the characters on there. I really liked it. I hate to admit it. I owned like 4 or 5 seasons of it on DVD, and I thought it was funny, and I like the nerd culture in it. I think if Kevin Smith, which he did do a show, which is Comic Book Men, which is great. I love Comic Book Men, which is basically Antiques Roadshow for nerd culture. But I think if he wanted to do a show, this is more what he would have if he did like a syndicated, just something that had nerd culture in it and celebrated that more.
There was a Clerks cartoon?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was really good.
I'm looking through a list of greatest shows, comedy shows.
Yeah.
And the 2 from when I was younger that I completely forgot about. One I hated and one I loved. The one I hated was Malcolm in the Middle.
I loved Malcolm in the Middle.
I hated the mom.
It was fine.
The brother was such a douche, and the mom was so annoying.
My mom was worse than that.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no. I think the reason David watched this is because I would watch it, and he'd be like, "Oh, you watching this again?" I love Malcolm in the Middle.
Wait, what was the second one, David?
Yeah, what's the second one?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
NBC.
What a great show. Man. That
NBC
I think
kills it, man.
That might have been the first.
Malcolm in the Middle was Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Poor Bryan Cranston. That's not the show you want to start your career on.
It gave him a career. That and X-Files.
No, he was on Seinfeld a whole bunch of times.
He was on Seinfeld as well, yeah.
He was the dentist.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think he was Crentus the dentist. I'm just kidding. No.
I think he was like one of the, he was on Power Rangers or did test footage for Power Rangers.
I thought he did the voice of Zordon.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Power Rangers. So.
Oh, What a great
I just know
comedy.
a little bit about.
We need to
Bryan
talk
Cranston.
about the comedy that was Power Rangers in the years of violence it caused in children. I'm just kidding. I love that show.
I have another show.
Go ahead.
Okay.
There's one I discovered in college that weirdly no one ever told me about. I just kind of happened upon it on Netflix. Freaks and Geeks. One show that deserves way more airtime than it got.
Yeah.
One season.
So
Thanks, Fox.
Yeah, right?
I was NBC.
That was it. Wow.
Right here, NBC gave it one season and then canceled it before it even finished.
Are you sure that wasn't Fox?
Says NBC right here.
Wow.
Oh, jeez. His second series was on Fox, Undeclared.
I love both of those shows. Have you seen Undeclared, David?
I'll have to go back and look at it.
Oh, you need to watch it. It's fantastic.
It's Judd Apatow.
And it has freaking Jax from Sons of Anarchy in it.
Really?
Yes. It's so good. Man,
I think Undeclared got 2 seasons.
Yes, because I literally went from I watched Freaks and Geeks a long time ago, then I watched that, and then I immediately watched Undeclared, and it's a great pairing to watch that one and then the next one. Man, both of them had a lot of big stars in it. Like people say that Apatow is a good way of like seeing talent and knowing it, and so yeah. All right, since David brought it up, are we going to talk about streaming services now?
I brought it up?
Well, you said that you watched Freaks and Geeks on streaming services.
I don't remember
that. Yeah, we talked about networks, and then...
When it comes to comedies, I don't really think about watching like comedies on streaming. Two of them that I've avoided are The Ranch with Ashton Kutcher, which I'm like, oh man, we didn't bring up that 70s show. I just realized it.
I don't really like it.
I love that 70s show. It's great. Eric Cartman. Eric Foreman was great. That was a great show. But yeah, I don't watch The Ranch and I don't watch Letterkenny, which everyone I know watches those. Like everyone on Facebook's like, oh, Letterkenny is the greatest. I just don't. I don't know. If you like it, that's great. But I don't.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and
I don't think I watch any sitcom or comedy like exclusive to streaming.
Yeah, me neither. I really don't
I
think so.
Like I want to watch Unbreakable Kim. Well, Master of None.
Oh yeah, I love Master of None. Yeah, I wish you would have got
a lot of Hulu originals in college because I just didn't have cable television.
Well, Hulu didn't exist when we were in college. So.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's a lot of weird random ones, but I liked them. But I would not put them in my favorites at all.
But what were they? I mean, were they comedies or were they just?
Yeah, they were comedies like Moon Boy, which I'll get back to.
Oh, Moon Boy! Yeah, I was starting that, but I didn't finish it.
There's one like The Spy.
Yeah,
these are all British comedies.
Yeah. The British comedies is its own episode. Like I have so much to say on that.
We could do after sketch comedy. We can do British comedy.
Like, yeah, I almost brought up the idea of that sketch comedy.
I have a lot of British comedy I like.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a whole thing.
We could talk for 2 hours just about like IT Crowd and Red Dwarf.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, do we want to have like a definitive 3 for each of us?
I'm just gonna talk about one, but I'm trying to think of streaming service shows that I watch. But you're right, I don't think. There's another one I avoided, which is Trailer Park Boys, but also I like streaming services because it's a way to catch up on shows that you missed out on, like Superstore. You know, even HBO had the Royal Gemstones, I love Royal Gemstones, and God, what's his other show? I don't remember it right now. But yeah, that guy, what's his face? Was in those.
Wait, is Eastbound and Down?
Eastbound and Down. Oh. That's on HBO Go. That show's almost hard to watch, but it's so funny because it's so cringy at times. You're just like, oh, I don't want to watch this character doing these things.
Yeah, he's like a redneck David Brent.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all. I feel like I'm missing something. Like there's a show I watched.
Speaking of HBO, freaking The Larry Sanders Show. Oh my God.
Never watched it.
Oh. Watch it.
I tried
dude,
to,
that
but
show is great.
I've heard good things. It's kind of like Veep. It's like I kind of want to watch it, but
Yeah, Veep is fine, but the Larry Sanders Show is like it holds up today. That show is fantastic.
Did y'all watch Comedy Bang Bang?
Yes, but that's kind of
A
sketch.
little bit.
Kind of sketch comedy though. But
Yeah,
I love Comedy Bang Bang. That's
yeah, like if
show.
the pranks and stuff, like
yeah, the Eric Andre Show is that?
Man Seeking Woman.
Man Seeking Woman is so good, and no one watched it. And all 5 seasons are on Hulu, and it is so good.
Really good.
Yeah, that is such a great show. That's probably in my top 3, actually. Probably. Mm-hmm. Well, the music in it's really good. I like that about it. All right, well, I guess we'll go over favorites since we went over every TV show in existence almost.
This is like I like this, man. It's bringing back like I think I've said it on the podcast before. I like television comedy better than cinematic comedy.
Oh yeah,
because you can tell a better story over a season than you can over a 90-minute laugh fest.
Yeah, my
favorite TV comedy is I love way more than my favorite comedy movie ever. So like it's nice to list off these things because I can. Like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember this moment.
Yeah.
Where as a movie, it's like, it's just a funny movie. At 2020 right now, my favorite comedy ever is Bridesmaids. It's the funniest movie I've ever watched. It's me. But I would rather watch a season of The Office or a season of Parks and Rec than sit down and watch 2 hours of Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
Just because the writing's better.
Yeah, you just get more invested in characters that way. You can flesh out the characters. And like I said, make better, more meaningful connections in a show than you could in a movie.
So I think Jim Marks and my favorite are the same.
Go on.
How I Met Your Mother is my favorite TV comedy ever.
Ever.
That was the first show that was like me and my wife's show. Set the DVR or watch it when it played live. Like that was our show. And then we fell off in the last season because I saw where it was going and I didn't agree with it. Mm-hmm. But even with that, what I think is a stumble, I think from front to back, that is my favorite comedy show ever.
Well, it's funny because mine was Scrubs, then it was The Office, and then it was How I Met Your Mother. Like that, I guess if I had a top 3, those would be it. Because Scrubs, man, I would preach the word to people. Same thing with The Office, but How I Met Your Mother, I really like. That's the most recent show where I'm like, I would like force people to watch because that's the only reason I watched it. I was hanging out with a friend and they just started playing. I'm like, I don't want to watch this. Why would I watch a show called How I Met Your Mother? It sounds like the Golden Girls or something. Like, why would I want to watch that? And then I loved it. I loved one of those shows where I like every character. I like the messages. It's a very optimistic show. And it has cartoony parts, especially, was it Barney? Is that his name?
Barney, yeah.
Yeah,
Barney is a character that cannot be written now.
Yeah, his whole life is a cartoon. You know, everything he does and says, but it was kind of fun to watch that ride. And just Ted's journey through that, having an optimistic ending, in my opinion. I didn't hate any. I only hated, like, there was like one or 5 episodes that were like, ew. But otherwise, I loved the whole show from beginning to end. And I'm like, it's just it's an interesting journey to have somebody who sometimes he stumbles, but he's always trying to optimistically move forward. And I think he's a really good character to watch.
Yeah.
And yet again, everyone in that show, it's the friendships that you like and the connections between those characters.
Right.
And, you know.
And it's from episode 1. Mm-hmm. That dynamic is there from the jump. Like Robin is the outsider that becomes the insider, and she's got chemistry with everybody from the first episode.
Yeah,
Lily and Marshall are the power couple. Like every show's got a power couple where their marriage is perfect, their relationship is perfect. It ain't perfect.
Yeah,
she leaves him, and then she comes back, and Marshall doesn't take her back.
Yeah, which is brilliant.
Awesome. You know, you don't have that music swell moment where they embrace and everything is. No, you have an arc of episodes where it is chaos.
Yeah.
It's super well written. It's really well acted. I don't know. It's just my favorite ever.
It's definitely in my top 5.
Ooh, it's his number
Pink was
5. Oh,
disappointed in the ending. I think that's my main thing, though. It was in my top 3 before that.
y'all need to. We might do sport. I don't understand why y'all don't like the ending of the show because to
I
me,
don't think Ted needed to be with Robin.
No.
why have
Robin
y'all
could do
grown to
better.
hate her as the show went on?
Well, no,
Yes.
because I thought Barney and Robin together was good. I liked
No.
I completely
No.
disagree with that.
I disagree. Robin and Barney were awful for each other.
it.
Robin didn't need a man.
Nick wants
Robin
her
was
all
as
to himself.
independent as it comes.
To me, it made sense because he's telling his kids a story, and the line that they directed and wrote on the first season of the show because they look completely different now, where they're like, you keep bringing up Robin. Why do you keep bringing her up? This isn't from Ted's perspective of Robin too. This isn't Robin telling the story. It's him sharing, her. And
Don't call her Aunt Robin from the beginning if they wind up together in the end.
It's a red herring, I guess. And you're
Every
right.
episode.
But you're right that the show is called How I Met Your Mother, and it's all about Robin. It's not. You think he would be talking about the mom, but they say you already know all those stories.
Well, it's a big build up, seasons and seasons of build up to just.
I would be completely okay with it if the Aunt Robin thing wasn't there. If he would just call her Robin. But because they're calling her, the kids call her Aunt Robin, he's calling her Aunt Robin.
But that's what they called him because that's what would have happened. He was married. He wouldn't have just been calling her Robin when they were married with this other woman he's in love with. He'd been like, oh, that's Aunt Robin because he's trying to distance himself because he had this long love affair with her. You know what I mean?
I don't know. But Robin didn't need a dude.
I kind of agree with you. If they weren't going to do Robin, then...
Why write Robin so awesome and so independent and so unneeding of a guy to have the fairy tale ending?
So you would prefer
the only
ending...
problem I have.
You would prefer an ending where Ted just goes, so I am alone.
Yeah.
Have fun, kids.
Why not? Community did it.
Yeah, but Community is a different show. This show was all about... if you really think about the show, it was leading to this. It's Ted's optimism, Ted believing in love and that love exists and that he was trying to channel that through Robin for so long, and they're making the argument that that's what's immature, or the way Robin was acting, and that she didn't need love, and she was constantly pushing somebody who loved her this much away from her, and ending up with...
Bringing him back.
Do what?
And then constantly stringing him back.
Yeah, but it's, like she had to mature as a character, I think, or as a person. And I'm not saying that, in my opinion, I think that's what the show was trying to say, that she just wasn't ready. And
I think it's very of its time.
Yeah.
I think if they started writing this show in like 2016, 2017, and then this arc ends, we wouldn't have Arnie,
No, we wouldn't.
But I think that show ends with Robin and Ted not getting together. Ted not finding what he was looking for in Robin.
But I
think that's a better story.
I think there should have been an episode of him, spoiler alert, of him feeling isolated because of his wife dying, and him being... The reason he's telling his kids this is because he remembers what it's like to be single, and he remembers being in love, and then us having a better connection with Ted at this moment, instead of fast forwarding to him being like, oh, it's just Robin now. That whole ending being fast forwarded was kind of like, I needed like three episode arc of this, of them explaining where he's at in his life, explaining where Robin is in her life, and then explaining why they got back together. To me, I think that would have made it better for everybody, because you'd be like, oh. And we don't know what Robin really went through during that time either that made her want to end up with Ted. Like how many bad relationships, how many bad guys, why she stayed single. Aunt Robin. And like how she even felt during his wedding. I really wanted to know how she felt during his wedding.
I needed that.
Yeah. Like, was she sad about it? Was she happy for him? Like, was she jealous? Like, where was that? Because that could have carried on to being like, well, she finally feels like she could be with him, but then you need him to kind of mourn the death of his wife and kind of, give that time. Like, they shouldn't have rushed that ending. And maybe they wanted another season, but it seemed, that whole last season seemed like they knew that was their last season. But to me, that all made sense because I guess I made it all up in my head, everything I'm describing. So to me, that made sense. But yeah, if you rush through it, it doesn't really hold up, I guess.
Even with all that, it's my favorite.
Yeah, even with that, I can't believe I didn't like it. I loved it. I was like, this is perfect. I still think Ted should have ended up with that woman who owned the bakery, who was my favorite. She was awesome. Yeah. I thought that would end up being the mom, which actually would have made me happy. But that's still a good show. It's still good. Smallville, really funny. Really good Smallville. Really? Great minds. All right, David. We are way past an hour. So what is...
Oh my goodness, I just noticed.
Yeah, what is your...
My favorite is IT Crowd, hands down. I love it.
That's British.
That's British.
That's my favorite comedy show. That's
British.
It is great. It is like the greatest show ever made, and I wish there was another season. There is a movie.
The movie's amazing.
The movie's great. Oh, What They Do in the Shadows.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great TV show that y'all are not watching, and y'all need to. It is really good.
David, American comedy. Specific American or Mexican comedy?
Except the last 2 seasons.
Of what?
The Office. Yeah, I want to say Arrested Development, but I did not like the Netflix.
Yeah.
I didn't like anything on Netflix.
No.
I thought the Netflix stuff was... They had some really funny stuff with Job in it on the Netflix thing, but it's just... Yeah,
that was reaching for funny stuff.
Yeah. But it wasn't...
You're right. Hey.
Yeah.
In the funny department. Nancy King Woman would probably be up there too.
It's so good. Oh, David, way to deflate.
You had to bring up IT Crowd.
Yeah. But no, that's a really, 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 really good show, though.
I watch it all the time when I want to laugh and calm down.
It plays on Pluto TV all the time. Just a random episode will be on and I'll just watch it. Even I've seen the series 5-6 times through all the way.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah. It's kind of good that it's short.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Goof topic?
On a comedy show?
I don't know. I guess Smallville is our...
Oh, there was one. If you guys can find it, there was a CBS comedy that only had 1 season, and it was super good. It's called The Class. It played like during the 2nd season, I think, like right before How I Met Your Mother. And me and Casey fell in love with it back then. It did not get a 2nd season, and it's full of people that are like super famous now. But it was like around this 10-year reunion kind of deal where these people coming back together and comedy happens. But like it was so super well written and like really well acted. It's probably not on any kind of streaming service, but man, if y'all could track it down, like that show was really funny. So is there like, do y'all have like a one season wonder besides Freaks and Geeks?
No, that was it. Dang it, Nick.
I have a lot of anime that is 1 season that I've been watching that I wish had more seasons. But when it comes to TV shows,
Firefly.
Well, that's like that's sci-fi.
Comedy.
It is. Firefly. I mean, I don't understand why they didn't remake it like 5 years ago. And it's
everyone's on board. Everyone who played on the show.
Yeah, still to this day.
That Serenity is my favorite sci-fi movie ever made.
Oh.
You.
I did watch Serenity before I watched the TV show.
I watched the TV show, was upset it didn't get picked up, and watched Serenity in theaters. In an empty theater.
Yeah, my brother Paul dragged me to the theaters. Like, you can watch. He's like, I'm buying you tickets. And I was like, fine. I was like, I did not want to go. And then I was like, that was awesome. Like, I didn't know anything about the characters or anything. It's just such a well-structured, good movie. Since I did it that way, I can just tell you, as its own movie, it was really good. And I wish, because some people are like, it doesn't work as a show. It works better as a movie franchise. I wish they would have made like 2 more movies and made it a trilogy. Just to flesh out everything.
Like, anybody that likes The Mandalorian owes that show's success to Firefly.
Mm-hmm.
Because without Firefly, Mandalorian would be a much different show.
Probably. But Mandalorian's even more serious than.
No,
than
but you know
way
what I mean, like
the
that.
Firefly get.
The structure and that kind of Western
Yeah.
vibe.
I mean, that's the way to do bounty hunters is in a Western theme. You know what I mean? And even the first Star Wars movie had that Western theme at the cantina and everything.
Yeah.
Man, what a good show. Yeah, I guess Mandalorian's not a sitcom, but
No, it's not.
yeah. I mean, we are skipping over a lot of like Nickelodeon shows, like Ned's Declassified, School Survival Guide, which is probably one of my.
Oh, man.
How
did we
Life with
forget?
Alex Mack?
Yeah.
I loved Alex Mack. David, is Ned's Survival Guide your favorite TV show?
It might. I think it might be better than Man Seeking Woman or even Arrested Development because I don't like the Netflix season.
Yeah, but that show's good from beginning to end. And I was out of college, grown ass man, loving a kid show. It was so weird. I love it.
Oh, you talking about a kid show? You talking about Wonder Shows? Kid show.
No, we're not talking about Wonder Shows.
Show. That's sketch comedy.
Yeah, but man, Nick, you need to show your kids Ned's Declassified when they get into middle school.
My daughter is watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Ooh, the new
currently.
one?
Hopefully not.
No,
No,
not the new one.
Not the new one.
Not that one.
She started painting pentagrams in her spare time. Great.
No, she's watching it on Hulu like all the way through.
That's awesome.
She loves it.
Yeah.
She doesn't get half the jokes because Nick Mackay is very topical as Salem the cat.
I should have called my black cat Salem.
Cliche.
Yeah.
Just call him Nick Mackay.
Yeah.
Nobody named their cat Nick Mackay.
Yeah. Mackay would probably.
He's the progressive box now.
What are you? Oh.
She does those commercials with the progressive box.
Yeah. Wow.
That's Nick Mackay.
Strange thing to bring up. Hey, dude, didn't watch it.
No, but I like Salute Your Shorts a lot.
Loved. Forgot about Salute Your Shorts. Man, I want to rewatch it. I'm afraid to.
But the best Nickelodeon sitcom is The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
Oh my gosh, the music in that, the style. It was like MTV, the TV show, almost. Like
there was so much going on in that show.
Yeah,
like creatively, we didn't deserve that show when we were kids.
Yeah, it was almost too weird for me as a kid. It took me growing up a little bit to appreciate it more. Because as a kid, I was like, I don't get it. But then, like, as I grew older, I was like, oh, this show's awesome. And I just watched reruns of it. It was like, oh,
it's smart, man.
Yeah, it's yet again another movie or show that balances like humor and just very cartoonish.
Absurdity.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I wish they focused. I like the parents on it. It just it seemed like one of those shows where like where there's like Goosebumps or something, where it was like there's a mystery going on and you're not sure.
And sometimes they don't even resolve it.
Yeah, they just leave it hanging, which is kind of how life is. Like you don't resolve everything, which is interesting. Man, I forgot about that show. Didn't watch a lot of Disney shows other than Ned's Declassified, School Survival Guide, which me and David are heavily telling everyone here to watch.
The reason behind that is Disney wasn't available on cable in our area until like the late 90s, which was very strange because y'all's hometown shared the same hometown cable as me.
Yeah.
But we had satellite. We were like the first people that had DirecTV. And then like it was on there. Like before that, when we had cable, we had like there was the Disney free previews, the Disney Weekend, where you would record a bunch of crap and it would have the 1-800 number on the bottom of the screen.
Yep.
I had so many tapes of movies that had that freaking number on the bottom of the screen.
And it's just like, I never watched Shia LaBeouf's show. What was that?
Yeah.
That one. But everyone loved the sister on that. Even Stevens.
Yeah. The sister filmed a werewolf vampire horror movie in Crowley.
Louisiana.
Sci-fi, like 10 years ago.
Wow.
They shot scenes of it in the old Dixie Hardware building.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah, I've always
said I don't remember the name of the movie.
I have always... Oh, go ahead, David.
What about Boy Meets World?
We talked about it.
We touched on it. But like I said, the college years were awesome. That's when the show kind of hit its stride. And it's hard for me to watch the early seasons of that show because it's like,
actually, too bubbly.
Yeah, And the kid in it, he's kind of annoying, actually. I'm like, what? They make him have a lot of mistakes, and it's more, to me, it comes off more annoying, like, he's just a dumb kid. But when he gets older, it's more like, oh, he's just, like, learning about life, more. And I guess that's what the whole show is about, but it's like, it was easier for me to identify with someone older than just a kid being dumb, I guess.
Well, I identify with Sean. More than I did.
Yeah. And I had a big crush on Topanga. Big time.
Tapanaga.
God, we covered some ground on this one.
Yeah, but we're all television watchers. Like, I mean, all the shows now are more serious. Like, we're watching Game of Thrones and all that stuff, and y'all
really need to be watching Person of Interest.
Oh my gosh!
No, I haven't started it.
Me neither. I don't know if I have time.
It's on my list. It's like my next show I'm watching. I just haven't done it yet.
Guys, oh man, it started out as like, we're not finished with it. We still have about 20 episodes left, and it started out as like probably my favorite action drama. And now it's like, it's kind of dipping its toes in the little science fiction.
Oh, okay.
It's not going full blown. It's like, just, here's a little taste. Here's a little more taste. And I'm like, man, just go for it. And it's like, man, y'all need to watch the show.
You reminded me of one other show that I wanted to bring up, but I can't remember. I forget what the name of it is. I almost had it. Hold on. Y'all talk about stuff.
Stuffy stuff.
So, Nick, where are you on Final Fantasy VII?
The same exact place as last time. I haven't played it again.
Yeah, I haven't gotten far. I'm maybe like have 12 hours, 13 hours on the game right now. I just got to the church.
Oh, okay. So you finished the second mission?
Yes.
Well, the third mission because of that tacked on mission with Jesse. How do you feel about that mission, David?
I don't know. It's stupid. I was happy to finally kill something. That was about it. The story gets in the way of the fun.
It's so Kingdom Hearts, and it doesn't even know it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know it.
Yeah, I know it. Tetsuya Nomura has destroyed this freaking game.
Yes, I just...
Jamar.
Yeah, we can do a whole stream about that.
No, I'm just saying, whenever you're done, just watch my rant on Final Fantasy VII. That's all I'm saying. Whenever you're done, you can watch the rant, and then we're going to do a podcast all on Final Fantasy VII.
It's sad because I'm getting to a point where I'm just wanting to play the game to beat it.
That's exactly how I feel, and that's why I haven't played it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fun, and it's beautiful, but, man... The bike ride fight and that new soldier character. Oh, I was not happy.
Weirdly, I didn't mind that. As much as I hated it, I didn't mind that. I was like, this is fine. It's dumb.
I didn't mind the bike chase.
No, I thought it was fun.
Fight.
Yeah. And that probably is where I started to turn downward a little bit, but it's a part after that. The next part for David.
I'll end it. Okay, we'll crush this discussion.
Oh, yeah. Let's squash it.
That scene belongs in Nier Automata.
Yeah.
Not in Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Well, I might cut all this out and then insert it into... But yeah, the show I was thinking of that's like the show that you're talking about was Fringe. Have you ever seen Fringe?
We watched the first 3 seasons, and then when there was 2 Josh Jacksons, and I was like, I'm done. I
love that. To me, them hitting sci-fi hard, because they were like, kind of little, and then they left turns. I loved it. I thought it was fun.
They dabbled, and they went like, they dumped the kitchen sink and the trash can all over the screen.
That show also had a lot of formulaic things where that one guy would always run around the house. I'll take him like the investigator, and I was like, oh, I know it's gonna happen. Oh, it happened again, but it was a fun show.
It had a Monster of the Week kind of feel.
Yeah, which isn't a comedy, but
yeah.
That if you can tell me that Person of Interest is like Fringe, then I will watch the poop out of it because I loved Fringe. I thought it was a great show.
if by fringe you mean like a small organization of people that are taking care of problems that the rest of the world doesn't know exist, then yes.
Ooh, okay. That's all you needed to say. That's all you needed to say, Nick. Ugh.
Yeah.
Because Person of Interest literally sounds like CSI Miami to me. Like, why would I want to watch that?
Yeah.
It totally does. But, dude, episode 1, you will be like, this is different. This is a Batman story.
Yeah.
With realistic elements.
Yeah.
And the first season, they did not have a budget until season 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you.
What streaming service is it on?
Netflix.
Oh, that's easy. All right.
Oh, speaking of comedies, although it's a cartoon, I just saw a trailer last night booting up Netflix for the new project that the makers of Adventure Time are doing, the Midnight Gospel. I don't know if y'all seen it. It looks.
Wait, I thought that was out.
It is out. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
It looks insane.
I didn't know it was from Adventure Time, but I'm definitely going to watch it.
And Adventure Time was my favorite TV show. Adventure Time, my second favorite TV show ever.
Yo, guys. I know this. I know this is probably should wait for an animation episode, but I stopped watching it.
No, just watch the last season.
I was like, I can't follow this anymore.
I couldn't follow it.
Season. I was like, there's too much going on in the behind the scenes to where I want to care about them, but it feels like one, and I'm on like the 8th or 9th season. I'm on the season where he's taking a boat to go to an island or something, and I'm like, I can't. This is too much for me. Like, I don't know what happened. I was on board. I've watched the first season 3 times already, and I think that fatigue probably warped but I eventually got it. Spoiler, when Finn loses his arm is probably my favorite part of the show, but then where it goes from there, I'm like, I know I want to develop these characters. I don't want you to leave. I want to stay within this world, and so maybe I'll stick with it past that point. Not only did I stop watching, I completely forgot about it until you brought it up just now.
there's like sagas that happen, like the Island Saga, and then you have to watch the Stakes Saga. Which is all Marceline centric.
Oh, I watched that one already. That was before the Island. That one's super good. I love that one. So good. That one was.
And then you have to watch the last season.
So yeah, I think I'm on 8 or 9 right now. Like, I'm really close to.
You're on the second last season, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I just need to burn past it so we could talk about it.
Island.
The last episode made me cry, like for real.
Something made me cry recently. Probably just my own life, so I don't know. That's a good point to end this podcast.
Yeah. We've been doing this for an hour and a half.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I might cut out our Final Fantasy talk. Just to reduce the time and keep it on point, and then we can bring all that back up. Party Down is a great show, by the way.
It is a good show.
Very good show.
A lot of future stars in that one too.
Yes, and it's also very dark, which is kind of its detriment, I guess. It's almost too pessimistic, but it's showing a realistic Hollywood, which I think is fun. I guess bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you tomorrow. Yesterday.
Love the future version of yourself that's in an alternate reality. I guess.
Love your wife until she dies, then marry your aunt.
Oh.
Gross.